Mine. Yours. Excuse me.
I just have a quick PSA. I have a cold. I've had a cold this week, and I'm a little congested right now. Normally, I would not do a show while having a cold, but unfortunately, it's been a while since I've done content. So, yeah, we're just going to deal with this today, and hopefully you won't notice. And if you only notice because I brought it up, well, too bad on my part then. So, I think this kind of brings a point to what I've always said. So, Ted Sarandos speaks out. And, I've said this before I get to the article, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I firmly believe a big reason that Netflix backed out was because that they had a feeling that Paramount, that their deal was not going to go through. And if you are Netflix, you have two choices. Pay more money or wait for the deal to fall and pay your price or pay less money. And if you're a business, do you want to pay more money for a deal that's likely going to fall through?
Oh no, especially for the price they're paying, and WB's already in debt. Why am I paying a lot of money to outbid somebody who's paying too much for a studio that's in debt? It's like trying to bid on a car and somebody's overbidding, and it's like, well, the car is already, there's a flat, something's messed up with the engine, the battery is not good, and you got to get a new battery. Why am I overpaying for something that I'm gonna have to try to clean up once I get it?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And, I'm glad you said that, Sin Havoc. I actually am glad you said that because, that is another theory I have about something. But I'm going to share this article real quick. So, Ted Sarandos, Netflix was willing to put emotions and ego aside and walk away from Warner Brothers acquisition. So Ted Sarandos acknowledged that, Ted Sarandos, CEO of Netflix, acknowledged that it was disappointing for the streamer to not win the deal for Warner Brothers Discovery streaming and studios business, but he said it built its M&A muscle, merger and acquisition, through the experience and tested its investment discipline to have the resolve to abandon the bid. So, we all know they abandoned the bid, but I want to get to what he said here. The most important benefit of this entire exercise was that we tested our investment discipline, and when the cost of the deal grew beyond the net value of our business and to our shareholders, we are willing to put emotion and ego aside and walk away, Sarandos said on Netflix's first quarter 2026 earnings interview. And doing it at this level, I think, sets up our teams to understand what's expected of them day to day. So he added, we met a bunch of great people in WBD during this process. So if there's any emotion in all of this, it was disappointing of not getting to work with those folks. We were really looking forward to that. So, as he says here, now we move forward with $2.8 billion in our pocket. So all the risk of being a broken record, I just want to remind you that we said from the beginning that the WB deal was a nice to have, not a need to have. I really like that last thing he said. Nice to have, not need to have. That was the big difference between Netflix's approach and Ellison's approach. Ellison was like, we need Warner Brothers. If we don't get Warner Brothers, we're I'm not going to live. We're going to die if we don't get Warner Brothers. Whereas Netflix is like, hey, this would be nice for our business. Let's try to get it. Netflix was business. They made a business decision for Warner Brothers. Ellison made an ego decision for Warner Brothers. And that's what shows me right there. If the price went down, that Netflix would be interested again. Mm-hmm. If they were able to get Warner Brothers for the price that they put up for it, or even less, Netflix absolutely would do this. I guess, Kozy, what's your thoughts on what Ted Sarandos said?
Basically, translation of Ted being like saying, yo, they're desperate. We're not. I've seen people also say Ted and Netflix, they just did this to raise the price for Paramount and just to get the $2.8 billion payout. And it's like, no, they wanted the deal. It's like what he said. It's not a need. It's a nice to have, but it's not a need. People are trying to blame Netflix. It's like you're blaming Netflix, but you're not looking at it was WB who was like, hey, would y'all allow us to go and entertain this deal that Paramount is raising the bid for? They went, Netflix allowed them to go entertain it. They went the deal. And because they went with the deal, they have to give them the payout. They act like Netflix was just like, oh no, WB, hey, yeah, let's raise the bid and do this, conspiracy thing of like, hey, let's act like we want it, and then when it gets to a certain price, we're gonna back off and y'all pay us. It's like, no, they wanted it. It just so happens WB was like, yeah, let's go entertain this deal from Paramount. They liked the deal so much they went with it, and because they went with it and didn't want to go with the deal with Netflix, they have to pay them the money. I don't know why people made it this weird thing of like, I don't know, this weird thing of just like, yeah, they did this, they just get more money. It's like, no, like it's like, it's not like, I don't want to say that's not how it works, but like they're bidding against each other. They're not trying to work together and be like, yeah, you get these IPs that could help us, and we just get the 2.8 billion. It's like, no, they can make more with the IPs they're getting from it, but neither here or there. Ted Sarandos said it, like you said it since the beginning. They've are interested. It would help them, and to me, not only would it help Netflix, but it would help the IPs that WB has. Like, put DC aside. You got Lord of the Rings, Looney Tunes. They could probably get back the Cartoon Network stuff, cartoons and all that, and revitalize them too. Netflix has their animation studio. So, like, imagine they get Looney Tunes or any of the animated shows from Cartoon Network, and they just give it to their animation studio and greenlight these love shows or the newer shows. So yeah, I always rocked out with Ted because Ted's always kept it real and kept it honest, and he's never changed up on what he said. Paramount winning the bid, I always looked at it, they're smart. They were smart for not upping the bid. Like I said, why am I upping the bid and paying y'all this much for WBD when WBD is not the price that Paramount is raising it to? Exactly,
Exactly.
Frankie. No, yeah.
Yeah, we're both saying the same thing. Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. Like, here's the thing. Like, people talk about like winning bids. It's like, here's the thing. At the end of the day, this isn't a competition, guys. I mean, like, it is a competition, but it's not a competition. At the end of the day, they're thinking long term. How can we grow our business the best way? That is what Netflix was thinking about. They thought Warner Brothers could be that way, but only for a certain amount of money. They don't want to pay an obscene amount of money for a company that's not really that worth it. Whereas Paramount, they didn't really care. Yes, exactly, Sin Havoc. Exactly. So Netflix was a business approach. Paramount was a desperate approach. And as disappointed as I mean, I was really disappointed, especially again, as I'm never letting this one go. I am never letting this one go. The fact that this news happened while I was on vacation, never letting that go. Never letting that go. But the fact that this news happened on vacation, even though I was that upset that day for happening on my vacation even, I had huge respect for Netflix for making a business decision, not an ego decision. It really was with David Ellison. It was ego at the end of the day, because I said that he should focus on the assets that he had and not put himself in an obscene amount of debt just to get Warner Brothers. I think Netflix could have really grown and made Warner Brothers something big. And, well, yeah, I just hope this no vote actually happens. I mean, I know I'm going to vote no, but I only have like 7 publicly traded shares. I don't remember. Just, it's not a lot. So, I mean, I will vote no, but I don't think I'm really going to make that much of a difference. Oh, wait. Yeah. I publicly admit that I do have some very small publicly traded stock in Warner Brothers. I don't remember if I have any in Netflix. It's possible I do. It's possible I don't. I don't remember. I'm not that organized, guys. But I don't own enough that it actually makes a significant difference in my finances. So.
There you go. But yeah, even the no vote, and then also Paramount's being investigated on this whole deal. So it's like you have two big things to go against it. So it's yeah.
So you don't think Ted Sarandos is waiting in the wings, telling the board, okay, guys, let's just pay attention to this deal. The instant it goes down. Plus, think of if you're Netflix, they probably could pay less money because now Warner Brothers will be more desperate to sell. Another theory, Sin Havoc brought up that they don't want Discovery Global assets. What if Paramount sells off some assets? I mean, yes, I know they would prefer to get all of Warner Brothers Discovery. I know they would. But I know David Ellison would rather get something than nothing. I theorize that to make this go through, David Ellison and Zaslav might sell off some assets to Netflix, sell Warner Brothers Pictures, HBO, DC, sell those assets off to Netflix to make the deal go through.
But to add on to your point, look at if everybody in here has Netflix, go on Netflix and look at the certain movies that's on Netflix. They had Mission Impossible. They had all the Mission Impossibles, including the, if not the newest one, the one before the newest one. They had all the Mission Impossibles on Netflix. They had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that they put out in theaters on Netflix. Like they have stuff they've already licensing to Netflix. And so it's like not saying they're already like foot in the door gonna give it to them, but it's like the signs are kind of already there of like, this doesn't work out, this is going to Netflix. Like it's to me a no-brainer.
Plus, also, I think some of those SpongeBob movies, I think one of them, I think it's the Sandy Cheeks movie. It's either Sandy Cheeks or the Plankton movie, is a Netflix original. And who owns SpongeBob?
Paramount. Because they own Nickelodeon.
Paramount. Yep, they own Nickelodeon because Viacom owns Nickelodeon and Paramount owns Viacom. So Paramount owns Nickelodeon. So that's because Paramount Plus isn't worldwide. Yep.
Like I said, like I told people, when people say streaming, like streamers, what do you think of? The first thing you think of is Netflix. Paramount Plus isn't like top 3 is Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max. And then even then it's Amazon Prime. And then after that, maybe Paramount Plus, but even then it's like, I don't use Paramount Plus. For me, I have no reason to use it. There's nothing on there for me compared to the names I just named. So I
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I get Paramount Plus when South Park is on, and then if there's a certain show, I might get it for just a month, and then I'm done with it. Whereas Netflix and Disney, I like to keep year round. Now, I will confess, when Netflix raised their prices, I did pause my Netflix subscription for a month. Shocking, right? I've told Netflix, and I paused my Netflix subscription. I'm like, they raise money. I have a budget. Like Ted Sarandos, I have my own budget. So when they raise prices, I'm like, I'm just going to pause this for a month, maybe 2, and then bring it back. And then, I, made up for the increase in price in my overall yearly budget. So
can you highlight Jamar's comment real quick? That's a great point also that I forgot. Netflix has the live action Avatar series. And
yeah,
the
one that's based off the Nickelodeon.
Yeah, you would think that would be on Paramount, right? And it's like, no, they let Netflix do a live action show on it. So it's, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for pointing that out, Mama Bear. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Mama Bear's from Canada, so she actually can give very good insights onto certain, I feel like sometimes when we live, sometimes when we're in the United States, we don't think about certain stuff like international markets and we just assume, oh, yeah, streaming service, it's here. We forget that, oh, wait, it's not available everywhere. I forget that sometimes. I forget that HBO Max is not available everywhere because I'm in my little American bubble. I admit that. I will admit that. But
yes,
and
same.
thank you.
When I heard people talk about I was surprised because I forgot myself because I forgot people. I've seen people from Uncountry say I still haven't seen ZSJL. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we don't have HBO Max. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that's right. Damn. So that, yeah, I always forget too. I'm like, because I'm thinking oh yeah, no, streamer, we have it here. and then everywhere else they have it. So, and it's like, oh wait, no, that's not technically true. Ooh, yeah.
But that's a good point to think about, whereas Netflix is global. So at the end of the day, Netflix is about business, Paramount's about ego.